So, data is one of the most important things about the internet. There is basically no point to the internet without data. But how do we transmit it? There is an old thing for telephones, or an old method, that was called circuit transmission. And how circuit transmission worked was that you would physically connect the sender and the receiver with an electrical circuit. And this was alright for a time when not many people had telephones, and you had things such as telephone operators who could create and break circuits at any time that you really needed to. But with the internet, it's a little different because data transmission is a lot faster. People aren't really talking with other people, it's computers talking to computers. So, circuits don't work out very well in this scenario for data transfer. So, another idea that was introduced during the telephone era, but really only started to take off when the internet came about, was this idea of packets. So, how a packet works is that you take a fixed unit of data, so maybe 32-bit, 64-bit, something like that, nothing too big, and you'd take a file that you wanted to send and you'd break it up into all of these little packets. And these packets will all get sent to the routers individually. And this way it allows your file to go through multiple routers and ultimately get to the sender quicker. And through multiple ports, it could download it quicker, something like that. And if it didn't need all those extra ports, then it could just connect a different way. Or it can connect the same way that it would have via circuit. So, it'll divide into multiple packets. It's good for bursty data because, for instance, if you don't use the circuit system very often, then there's no need to have that circuit set up 24/7. So for packets, multiple users are using the connection at the same time or the routers at the same time. And so you can just send whatever you want whenever you want, and then just not send whatever you want whenever you want. So you can send all of your data in maybe a minute or so out of the day, and it doesn't really matter. So this is a sample email that I wrote, and it has many exciting, wonderful things to tell John, sent from me. And we're going to break this up into different packets. So let's say the one line equals a packet, just for my lack of artistic skills in boxing and for time purposes, because there's no real point in making nice and neat boxes. So we're going to break this up into 3 packets, because there are 3 lines. Alright, so now this one email has been broken up into different parts. All of these are going to get sent from my lovely computer with the email written out and everything, exclamation points somewhere in there, because I wanted to write exclamation points. Alright, and this is going to get sent to my router in my house, or in the dorm, or sorry, residence hall, that's what they call them here, right? And all these packets are going to start going different directions, because for routers purposes, sometimes it's faster to go one way, or sometimes routers can't handle all of the packets at once and tell certain packets to go different places. So let's say that number 1 and number 2 go this way, and number 3 just kind of gets shot off in a different direction because this router is busy with somebody else. So my house router connects to another router, and then eventually through the lovely cloud of the internet, everything gets connected to the router at John's house. Everything will come back. Let's say, 1 and 2 will come back through here, 3 will come back there. And then it connects to his computer where he gets mail. You've got mail. And then he gets to see this lovely, pointless email that I sent him. Now, the idea here is that the packets could split up if one router couldn't take some of the packets at a given time. And it allows all the packets to get there basically around the same time, and with convenience to the routers. So, why use this? We've gone over some of the cool things about packets, which allows you to just kind of send stuff whenever you want. It breaks down big files, which can help the routers out significantly. It can also handle multiple users, this system, because you don't have to plug in a circuit from the sender to the receiver if you have a phone and a laptop and you want to use both of them at the same time, because tech world. You don't have to set up two circuits from the sender to the receiver, so that's good. Cons is that there's lots of internet traffic associated with this. If a lot of users use data at the same time, then routers get clogged up and then it leads to packet loss, and sometimes packets will come out of order. Now, sometimes routers get it wrong, and the packets are transmitted incorrectly. So one of the methods of fixing this is called CRC, which is cyclic redundancy check. What it does is when you have your packet, it comes in zeros and ones into the routers, because that's how the read is in binary. So what CRC does is it'll count the number of ones in a packet and create a hexadecimal number, and it'll send that number to the receiver, and the receiving router will count up the number of ones itself and compare it to the number that was sent with it. Now, this isn't 100% guaranteed to work, because sometimes the thing that gets copied is a bunch of zeros and then the packet's messed up. But a significant amount of the time, this catches any errors. So let's say this ending bit right here accidentally gets duplicated due to some latency in the routers. So we count here in this program there are 17 ones, and then this is going to go through the router, packets get sent through the internet, hooray, and then this router receives it, counts up all of the zeros and the ones. If it gets it right, then it's going to count 17 ones as well, store that in its 11 value. Everything's okay. If it's not, though, let's say that last packet up here gets copied, then this value is going to come out as 13, it's going to get compared to the 11, and that's not going to be right, so the data is going to be rejected. And that's how packets work.